2 weeks ago today, the Nintendo Switch 2 officially released here in America, and I have been absolutely loving it, but it's not a perfect device. What is, I mean, guys, even my MacBook Pro, I love this thing to death. This thing quite literally runs my work life, and my personal life for that matter, but it's not perfect. So I figured I would get on camera today and talk to you guys about my thoughts regarding the Switch 2. Spoiler alert, I'm not one of those video game creators who is overly dramatic, just craving attention by using clickbait and just, you know, saying bad things about game key cards and whatever. Well, because honestly, how you feel about something is not exactly going to reflect how I feel about something. So in other words, I'm not going to go into the drama side of things because frankly, I don't care, as Howard on Better Call Saul says. Yes, I'm going through Better Call Saul again. Anyway, guys, what's up? How you guys doing today? My name is David DeFranco, and I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember. I'm turning 40 in less than a year. I'm not proud of it, but hey, that's life. But guys, I've been gaming since the mid-80s. I've had the NES, SNES. Guys, I've had pretty much every single console, except for like the weird things like Virtual Boy. Never got around to owning that, Neo Geo. But at the same time, I do own somewhat weird attachments, such as a 32X and the Sega CD, and weird accessories such as the PlayStation 2 iToy, the Game Boy camera. So in other words, I've got a ton of experience in regards to gaming. So I like to say this, you guys can trust my opinion. I'm always going to try to be real with you. I may be a Nintendo fanboy, I may be an Apple fanboy, but if something sucks, I'll tell you. But anyway, let's focus on just the Switch 2. Guys, I'm going to try my absolute best to keep this video short. I do have my notes right here on my MacBook Pro, so let's just jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about is a question. Do I regret my purchase? No, I don't. Guys, again, I'm not one of those drama video game creators that's going to draw out the video and make you wait until the end. No, I do not regret my purchase one bit, especially considering Mario Kart World was bundled in for me, which means it was only like 50 bucks. I say only, hey, 50 is a lot better than 80. I'll talk about that more in a bit. But yeah, guys, the Switch 2 is absolutely incredible. It's a hybrid console with a ton of potential in the future. But right now, in my opinion, it's got a very strong and solid start, despite not having a ton of first-party or even third-party launch titles. But what kind of launch console has not had a strong launch lineup? Now, it is easy to say this, and I agree with the following statement. I do think the Switch 1 had a stronger launch library than the Switch 2 from a first-party perspective, because in my opinion, Breath of the Wild is a lot more grabbing, hence why I'm going through it again, more on that in a moment, than something like Mario Kart World. But I'm going to reiterate something I talked about in my recent weekend vlog, or 2 recent vlogs ago, I don't know what it was. Guys, time is flying these days. Mario Kart World, in my opinion, is a much safer and stronger launch title than something like Zelda, because the average person just doesn't like Zelda. Me personally, I love a good open world Zelda game, but it's a lot easier for them, Nintendo, to market and advertise the fact that Mario Kart World is a launch title, because everybody loves Mario Kart, right? I mean, if you don't love Mario Kart, what the hell's wrong with you? No, but seriously, guys, it's a great game. Actually, that's a great segue into my next category, or my next talking point. Mario Kart World is amazing. Basically, it's classic Mario Kart fun, but in a modern era. I will say the free roam mode is a little underwhelming. Ironically, that's something I was looking forward to the most out of everything that was offered new. But at the same time, it is a free roam open world mode, and honestly, there's only so much you can expect out of it. I just wish Nintendo would have put a little more care and attention into allowing us to track the things that we're collecting. And yes, I realize there's a fan-made app out there. I might be checking that out. As it stands right now, free roam, in my opinion, it just feels like a tacked-on mode. Yeah, there's a lot to explore, there's a lot to see, there's somewhat a lot to do, but yeah, I feel like they should have put a little more time and care into that. However, I'm happy to say this. Knockout Tour online, guys, is a total blast. I've streamed it live here on YouTube. I haven't gotten first yet. To be fair, I've only done like 5 or 6 races. But let's just say, if you're in first place like I was for a while, don't get too excited, because in classic Mario Kart fashion, you can fall back from first all the way to like 12th, 13th, 14th place in a matter of 10 seconds. I'm not even joking, because the online races are just absolutely chaotic. So much fun. I do wish we had proximity chat, but this is Nintendo we're talking about. You're not ever going to get proximity chat in a game like Mario Kart World because people like me would make your kids cry. Guys, it's just a fact of life with me. I'm not afraid to admit that. Yes, I would actually make your children cry. I'm not even joking. I'm a very passionate gamer. Let's just put it that way. So, is Mario Kart World worth $80? I don't know. I mean, from your perspective, that's completely up to you. But for me, honestly, if I would have paid $80 straight up, I probably wouldn't have regretted it. I mean, this is coming from someone who paid $85 for the Switch 2 Pro controller. What was it? $65 for the NSO GameCube controller. I also bought a spare Switch 2 dock for $120. I bought the Switch 2 camera for, what was it, 60 or 65 bucks, which honestly I have yet to even use. So I am not the best example, and guys, I'm just not the best person to ask, is this worth something? Because honestly, that's completely up to you. But for me personally, yes, let's just put it this way. I'm not cheap when it comes to my tech and my games. I'm not one of those people who whines and bitches over an $80 game, because honestly, I would much rather spend $80 on a video game than go out to a fancy restaurant and spend $80 on a steak dinner. That's just me. Other people don't mind doing that, but me personally, an experience at a restaurant or whatever is just that. It's a temporary experience. But with Mario Kart World, this game could be played on for years upon years, guys. So $80 for me is not a lot of money for a huge experience such as Mario Kart World. I just say it like it is. Like, money and value just comes down to what that person gets out of it. Again, like, I would much rather spend $80 on a video game than $80 on a dinner that I'm not even gonna be thinking about tomorrow or the next day. That's just how it is. And guys, that's why I'm a Mac user. I will gladly pay $2,000 for a laptop over a cheaper $900 Windows laptop, because I know I'm getting a good experience that's going to last me a while. And that's why I can say with confidence, the Switch 2 itself is not overpriced. If anything, it's competitively priced. And I say this respectfully, there's a lot of cheap people out there. There's a lot of cheap ass gamers out there. It's just how it is. Hey, if you can't afford the $450, that's fair. Get a Switch 1, get a Switch Lite, get a Switch OLED, because those three consoles still have a solid experience to offer. But the Switch 2, personally, I don't think is overpriced. But hey, these are coming from the same people who will gladly spend hundreds, literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on things like Fortnite and Warzone skins. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Spending is relative to one's experience. That's just how it is. Anyway, money aside, let's talk about another thing that really surprised me: backwards compatibility. Now, if you've been watching me for at least a year or two, it's pretty well known by now that backwards compatibility to me is not a huge deal. I'm typically a forward-thinking consumer, forward-thinking nerd, geek, gamer, whatever you want to call me. Meaning, once I get that new experience, it's very rare that I go back and play those old experiences. My basement aside, that's a side project that I'm really just absolutely loving, because, I mean, for those who don't know, I've been completely redoing my basement and getting all of my old consoles up and running, from my Sega Genesis to newer things like my Wii U, my Xbox One X, my PlayStation 4. It's all downstairs, it's all powered up and ready to go. But that aside, typically when I get a new console, I don't worry about whether it can play games from like 3 or 4 years ago, because honestly, it's not that important to me. If I really wanted to play Switch 1 games, I would do just that. I would pick up my Switch 1 and play Switch 1 games on my Switch 1. But I am really, really surprised to say this, guys. The Switch 2 is a backwards compatible powerhouse. Not only have many games been receiving a paid upgrade, such as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, free for me, NSO, what's up, Oracle? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if I keep doing that, that's because I was just petting the cats. But we also get a bunch of free upgrades. And even then, some games just naturally run better. For example, this is actually pretty funny. I heard someone say this recently on a gaming podcast or on a gaming video somewhere. Someone's wife or daughter or sister, I don't know, someone in their life was playing Wheel of Fortune on the Switch 2, which is a Switch 1 game. And it was just magically so much better. It was no longer just lagging behind. The loading times were so much faster. It was now running at a solid capped 60 frames per second, whereas before, I guess it was running maybe like 20 to 30. But that's just my point, guys. The Switch 2, in a way, is like 2 consoles in one. You're getting the Switch 1 experience, but so much better. But you're also getting the Switch 2 experience with games like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. My God, that game actually looks incredible. I was kind of mildly excited before, but my God, like after today's Direct, or yesterday's Direct by the time you see this video, I'm so excited for day one. It looks like a good game. It looks, dare I say, bananas. You get it, Donkey Kong? Bananas? All right, moving on. But seriously, guys, let's just say this. I have over 40 hours already into the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild, a game I already beat back in 2017. And honestly, as much as I love that game, I had no plans of revisiting it until I found out it was getting a 60 frames per second upgrade, as well as a 1440p resolution upgrade. It's not in 4K, but damn, will I say it looks really, really good on my 4K TV. I have yet to see any frame rate drops on the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild. I'm loving it. I mean, guys, the fact that I already put 40 hours into it says enough, and I haven't even started this yet. I feel kind of bad. Sonic X Shadow Generations. I've had this game in my hands for 2 weeks now. Yes, I downloaded it via the game key card, but I love Sonic, but I have no desire to play this yet because I've been obsessed with Breath of the Wild. It's really that good. It's that good. So guys, if you need the money and you don't mind selling your consoles, guys, sell your Switch 1, put that money towards a Switch 2. It can save you like $100, $150 or whatever, because I'm telling you, the Switch 1 experience on the Switch 2 is really that good. It's phenomenally good. It's stupidly good. But anyway, yeah, so the Switch 1 on the Switch 2 experience has really inspired me to go through games like Breath of the Wild again, and eventually Tears of the Kingdom, and even games like Super Mario Odyssey. I say even because I made it clear on this channel. I think Odyssey's overrated. It's a good, solid Mario game, but it doesn't have the charm that 64 and Sunshine did, and even Galaxy. So I'm hoping going through Odyssey again will change my mind, and I'll end up saying, wow, this game actually is really good. I didn't dislike it. I just thought it was a little too easy. I thought the world was a little too open and empty. But the ending with Pauline was really good. Like, that was a really good ending for a Mario game. But yeah, guys, Switch 2, I'll say it again, it's essentially a Switch 1 and Switch 2 combined. And that is why I don't think it's overpriced or overrated. It really is a solid console. And by the way, you're probably not seeing any B-roll because I've decided at this moment in time to not put any B-roll in. I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing that. Guys, I'm just going to be real with you. And I just want to get this video done. Okay, so next point of topic. 99% of my playtime is playing docked on the TV. And it was the same exact way with the Switch 1. It is the definitive experience to play games, in my opinion. You get 4K HDR. Obviously, it's going to vary: 1080p, 1440p, 4K, 2160p. HDR support is iffy here and there, but what really sells me is 5.1 surround sound. I can't tell you how many times I've entered, like, I don't know, Hateno Village or Kakariko Village, and I can hear like the animals behind me, or even just exploring Hyrule in general. Like, to hear birds chirping behind me and the wind passing behind my ears is incredible. I've always been a surround sound freak, even in the early days of Nintendo 64 with games like Donkey Kong 64. I believe it supported Pro Logic 2, which wasn't true surround sound, it was kind of like simulated. But even back then as a kid, I had these rear speakers underneath my bunk bed. Yes, my bunk bed. It's just always been important to me. And if you don't have surround sound or even a sound bar, again, I say this respectfully, I feel bad for you. What are you doing? I can't stand when people play with TV speakers. You are severely, severely missing out on a much better audio experience. Just spend $100 on Amazon today and get yourself a Vizio soundbar. And actually, I'll link one right below. Vizio or TCL, yeah, they're not top of the high quality premium brands, but they're pretty damn good for the price. If you hear the water in the background, that's because it's pouring outside. Anyway, playing portably is enjoyable, as I put in my notes here, but I'm mostly a couch gamer. You just cannot beat gaming on the couch. But I will say, while I do miss the OLED display of the Switch OLED, which I still have, by the way, and I'll never get rid of it, HDR and the display in general, just, this thing looks phenomenal. I do miss those rich blacks, I'm not gonna lie, especially when you boot up the console or you're booting up a new game and you see Nintendo, and it's kind of like a washed out, grayish, blackish look. I really do miss OLED. But guys, anybody with half a brain can pretty much confirm what I'm going to say next. Nintendo did that on purpose, because they know people like me, people like myself, will actually buy a Switch to OLED. And yes, I will, no shame. OLED is everything. But hey, I'll say it again, 99% of my playtime is done on my TV. So at this moment in time, honestly, it's just not all that important to me. It is not a deal breaker at all. But even when playing portably, I gotta be honest, the controls to me feel a little cramped. And well, that's why I love this. Okay, so to be fair, if I'm using the Pro Controller, I'm sitting on the couch. But I gotta say this anyway, like if you're using the Joy-Con, I mean, even on the Joy-Con grip, get away from them. Yeah, they're fine, I know. Who is this guy telling me what to do with my Switch 2 and how to spend my money? Believe me, I like to think I have good opinions. The Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. This thing is amazing. Not only is it super comfortable, but the sticks, listen to this. They are so stupidly quiet. These are the smoothest analog sticks I have ever felt on a controller. And I'm not saying that because I'm still in the Switch 2 honeymoon. Honestly, the honeymoon phase is fading, and that's perfectly normal. But I will be perfectly honest with you. This controller exceeded my expectations. It is so super comfortable. Honestly, I wish it was maybe even like a tad bigger. But even then, like I wouldn't honestly like realistically change anything about this controller because it just works so damn well. Like the sticks just feel so good. The D-pad's okay. The D-pad's okay, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not some hardcore Tetris player, but I will say in my inventory screen of Breath of the Wild, I have had a few instances where I press right and it goes down. But it's not to the point where it breaks my experience. I'm just kind of like, really, Nintendo? I mean, come on, you could have given us a better D-pad. But guys, that is in no way a deal breaker at all because I love this controller. And yes, the Switch 1 Pro Controller works just fine with the Switch 2, but if you have the $85, buy this controller. You will not be disappointed. And speaking of controllers, I recently uploaded an unboxing video of this. Gotta be honest, this is more exciting for me because I'm gonna be using this so much more than I'm gonna be using this. But I will be jumping into the Wind Waker, one of my favorite Zelda games on the GameCube, pretty soon thanks to NSO expansion pack. And I figured, well, it makes more sense to use a GameCube controller than a Switch Pro controller or even the Joy-Con. So, guys, I'm doing it right. Bada bing, bada boom. And by the way, this is definitely my most expensive console launch that I've ever paid for. Between the Switch 2 and the games and the accessories and all that stuff, it's a very, very expensive launch. I'm not going to beat around the bush on that one. But hey, guys, treat yourself. You only live once. Okay. And, yeah, wow. I actually got everything out in less than 20 minutes. This isn't bad. Again, I apologize for not putting B-roll in. Gotta be honest with you, I just don't feel like doing it. I just want to sit here and make this a talking head video. Plus, that's why I put games on in the background. Now, is that distracting? Maybe a little so, but hey, that's on you, baby. That's on you. Focus on the primary target here. Primary target, I don't know what I'm saying. But seriously, I just put that in the background for you guys to keep these videos a little more interesting. Anyway, guys, my review of the Switch 2 is, it's an incredibly solid start, especially when you factor in Switch 1 backwards compatibility. That is absolutely huge. And we have a bright future, guys. We've got Donkey Kong Bonanza, we've got Pokemon games, we've got Metroid Prime 4, and hopefully something is in the works, you know, in regards to an actual 3D Mario game, because it's been a while. And guys, let's not forget games like Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is going to be absolutely huge on the Switch 2. I cannot wait, because freaking New Horizons was already amazing. That's my favorite Animal Crossing game to date. So imagine that game just even better. And of course, we can't forget even bigger games like Smash Brothers. Like, guys, this is Nintendo we're talking about. I don't care if you don't like the whole game key card situation or them bricking your consoles. Come here, come here. Maybe your console's getting bricked because you're doing things that aren't really ethically correct. Well, David, I bought this console. I can do what I want with it. Sure, that's fine. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That saying is a thing for a reason. I have absolutely no need to jailbreak or anything like that my devices. I like to use them as intended, and well, that's why I'm having such a great experience with my Switch 2. And guys, I cannot wait to see what the future holds, because if it's starting out this strong, I can't imagine what the holiday season is going to be all about. So guys, those are my thoughts on the Switch 2. Yay or nay? Me? Big ol' yay. Thank you so much for watching. Happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.